All right, our next speaker is Dave Putman, founder and head trainer of The Art of Dog in Western New York. A former high school teacher turned dog behavior expert, Dave blends education, patience, and empathy in his work, helping both dogs and their people build stronger relationships. Please welcome Dave Putman.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I do have a pocket full of index cards, but I'm going off script because that's just what I like to do. So the first thing we see is Roland. This is a story about a boy and his dog. That is the dog that created The Art of Dog. I took the name from my favorite jiu-jitsu school in California. I just put The Art of Dog instead of The Art of Jiu-Jitsu. That is Roland. He was a dangerous dog that was adopted by me from the City of Buffalo Animal Shelter 12 years ago. I spent a good long time crying every night with that dog because I did not know what I got myself into. He was attacking garbage cans, attacking people, attacking dogs, attacking me. But, I mean, look at his face. Am I going to give up on that thing? I was a former Buffalo public school teacher, teaching English over on the west side. Lost my job, and then I wound up here at the Bidwell Elmwood Farmers Market, handing out business cards saying, hey, I can help you with your dog. Right? If you've ever been to the farmer's market, you know there's lots of dogs running amok. And it was scary for a lot of people. And I was just handing out cards and doing the majority of my first lessons at the park, which presented a number of challenges. Finally, I moved into a carriage house on Plymouth Avenue in the heart of the west side over by Rhode Island. And it was designed like that. It was a very small home. All the dogs were in there. Training 4 dogs at a time in the house with my own 2 dogs. And dealing with dangerous dogs, it can be a little sketchy. And then Mr. Sizzles. Why is Mr. Sizzles up there? That's where the community portion started. They opened at the corner of my street, and I love cheeseburgers. So I walked in. I was the first person through the door with a hoodie, and I said, hey, I'll give you a hoodie if you give me a hoodie. And Chris said, okay. So now I have Mr. Sizzles hats and hoodies, and that's where I started exchanging merchandise. Moving up, I now have a staff of 8 trainers where I am located now on Grand Island Boulevard. It was an old barber shop and apple farm. So the pictures coming up soon, you'll see the backyards, where the apple orchard was. It's set up pretty poorly for dog training. One thing I really want to make sure I can do when I'm training dogs is eliminate space. As you can see, when you walk in the door, you have a 140-pound Rottweiler there. And you walk in and you're in a lobby. There's not a whole lot happening there. There's not a lot of space. There's a very poorly placed stairwell. And this grooming room is that door right over there. Not a whole lot of room to do work, so majority of the time is spent outside. When you walk out of the lobby, you walk into the most uncomfortable hallway, where if 2 people are standing in that hallway, you are feeling their breath. It is gross, and it is just tough to work. There's a bathroom off there and another kennel room, but ultimately it's not set up for success, and that is really difficult in dealing with dogs and dealing with small spaces. The upstairs, I did my best. I have a little portrait studio where I photograph portraits of the dogs for their clients. But the upstairs is split in half as well. So I have half of a room to work with, and the other half has a slanted ceiling, which I have permanent indentations on my head from hitting it all the time. But there's our yards, and there was apple orchards all the way in the back. The yards are set up very, very well for dealing with aggressive dogs. I mean, I have fences in between each area, which allows me to keep myself, my staff, and my dogs safe, and the client dog safe, which is the most important thing. Everything is double barriered, which you'll start to notice in the new blueprints coming up. Community also started playing a role when I was asked to teach a pet photography seminar at Delaware Camera. I'm okay with a camera, so I was showing people how to take pictures of their pets, and then I just decided that, what am I going to do with this money? I'm just going to throw it back to the shelter, because the shelter gave me Roland, which gave me The Art of Dog. And now, currently, White's Furniture, where my baby furniture was purchased, my mom reminds me every day, is being renovated and built into my new facility. So we'll be moving into the city of Buffalo on Kenmore Avenue, on the Buffalo side, so it's Buffalo. And I'm very excited to have this type of space. I'm standing in front of it a little bit, but I have so much more room. This is a dance studio. That's not involved with me. However, I have a very large training area here, which is super nice. I've never actually got to design anything before, especially a training facility. So I really had to sit down and see and think what I wanted. And everything I came up with was 4 walls and a ceiling, which is all I really need. You know, I was working at a park most of the time, but I have a nice large kennel room coming up where I have built-in showers, built-in grooming for the dogs, so no more lifting giant Rottweilers into tubs. I have a double barrier everywhere, which I'm very excited for. A front yard, which was a challenge. This is going to be a yard on Kenmore Avenue with a big 8-foot privacy fence. And my favorite, this is going to be a garage door, which I'm very, very excited about. So I get to lift up a garage door and walk outside anytime I want, which is very, very cool, especially when you are in a building full of dogs. It can get a little stinky. Number of rescues here. Every year I do a raffle where I donate proceeds to the raffle to one of these fine establishments. City of Buffalo Animal Shelter, Buffalo Underdogs. I have done numerous staff trainings for these places. Most of the time they want to hire me to train, and I will not take their money for it. I will just do it. And my role has sort of shifted now into more of training trainers, because the goal of the Art of Dog was to create better relationships for people and their dogs. And now, being a little bit of an old head, as they call it in the dog training industry, been around for a long time, I spend most of my time training trainers. And I figured I was going to run out of time, so I thought we could all just stare at Roland for the last 18 seconds of it. This old man, is when he was a young man with his tutu on, but he's still around, thankfully. And this is the dog that created everything and has made me what I am and made this business a staple in Buffalo at this point.
Beautiful story. Welcome back to the city of Buffalo, too. We'll be sure to check out your space. That's great.